Duque, pick up the phone!
Yo.
What's up?
What you doing, son?
Slumdog. The Wayans brothers might just be the greatest family in entertainment other than the Jacksons, but I mean, the Jacksons had Joe Jackson, and just look at those piercing blue eyes. I mean, you gonna do what he tell you to do. If the Wayans had Joe Jackson by their side, industry might just crash at that point. But the Wayans, their talent was unprecedented with projects like I'm Gonna Get You Sucker, In Living Color, Don't Be a Menace, and White Chicks, etc., etc. But the one we're gonna be talking about today is the most iconic and culturally referenced film, Scary Movie. And the reason that we're gonna be doing that is because Scary Movie 6 is coming out, and there's a lot of people interested in seeing what they have in store now. And me, myself, yeah, I love me some Scary Movie, so I'm interested in seeing it as well. So Scary Movie released on July 7th, 2000 and was directed by Keenan Ivory Wayans and became one of the most iconic parody films of its era. Starring actors like Anna Faris, Regina Hall, Shawn Wayans, and Marlon Wayans, the film follows a group of teenagers being hunted by a masked killer while hilariously spoofing popular horror movies like Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer. The movie was created to satirize the explosion of late 90s teen horror films, mixing outrageous comedy with horror cliches and pop culture references that made it an instant hit. Now, like I mentioned, Scary Movie referenced a bunch of films within their parody, films such as Scream, I Know What You Did Last Summer, Halloween, The Matrix, Candyman, and Friday the 13th, along with a slew of others. Now, Scary Movie has a lot of iconic scenes, but some of my favorite include the intro where the blonde model is talking to Ghostface on the phone while she's making popcorn, and that whole sequence with her starting in the house making popcorn, and then a fake prince that shows up, and then she's running across the sprinklers. I thought that was a great introduction and start to the movie right before the Scary Movie intro title pop up. Another one of my favorite scenes is Marlon Wayans' character when he was, chilling with his homies and he was talking to Ghostface on the phone and saying, "What's up?" Come on, you can't beat that. That was hilarious. And then the Ghostface, his face changing to, with his like tongue out and kind of like that high look. That was incredibly funny. I'm not gonna lie. And hey, Doofy at the end, I'll be honest, the first time watching this, it actually got me. I did not expect that at all. But what made this film a standout and an important piece to the culture and movies in general, I think is drastically undervalued. So we're gonna be talking about that a little bit and breaking down its cultural significance. So Scary Movie arrived at a time where movies, specifically horror movies, started to get and feel repetitive. There was a specific style that almost all horror films would have, and it would be like a teen slasher type movie. Examples of this would be Beavis and Butthead, the fast, errant jokes, constant mocking of music videos, celebrity, and pop culture. Then you have Jackass, an extreme physical comedy, quick cut editing, and shock value and outrageous stunts. This type of humor built immediate reactions rather than long setup. And then you have Celebrity Deathmatch, took famous celebrities and exaggerated them into ridiculous caricatures, packed with references that felt current and topical. But besides being a breath of fresh air, there was also a bigger problem that this movie ended up solving. Comedy films at the time were being led by specific actors and filmmakers. You have Adam Sandler with movies like Happy Gilmore, Jim Carrey was known for films like The Mask or Dumb and Dumber. The Farrell brothers had huge hits like There's Something About Mary. Teen comedies like American Pie were also exploding in popularity. The Wayans mixed parodies with black comedy traditions, sketch comedy timing, and sharper social satire. This was done in a way that wasn't seen in Hollywood prior. It felt more chaotic and self-aware and targeted specifically the youth at the time.
An unfunny spoof. See, Scream was like, it just said some things. We're doing the things that Scream thought about doing, but didn't do.
Now, prior to Scary Movie being made, there was a lot of success in Hollywood with people in the culture. Comedians like Eddie Murphy, Martin Lawrence, Chris Tucker, and the Wayans family were hugely successful, but studios often believed black films mainly appealed to black audiences instead of broad mainstream audiences. Even with the success of black stand-up comedians and sitcoms and some films that were made in the 1980s and 1990s, many major Hollywood studios still seen black art as very niche to black people specifically. You can see examples of this once you see how hard Spike Lee had to fight to get Malcolm X made.
I sent certified letter to my production staff and all the editors that this service would no longer be needed and they wanted to shut down production. And I got paid $3 million for this film and I put $2 million of it into the movie. In order to keep going and have the financial independence I needed to make the film I wanted to make and not be under the thumbs of Warner Brothers or the bond company, I got on the phone and called Bill Cosby, Michael Jordan, Prince, Magic Johnson, Tracy Chapman,
Michael Jackson?
No, Janet Jackson.
Even with the success of black sitcoms like The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Martin, and In Living Color showed there was a massive audience, but television and film were treated differently by executives. TV networks were willing to target specific demographics like a black audience, while films were focused on box office success. That's why Scary Movie mattered so much. It's because the Wayans weren't just making any ordinary film just specifically for a group of people. They were making a blockbuster masterpiece mainstream towards all. It challenged the industry's assumptions that black creators can't make something that's general for all audiences. It also exposed contradictions of how Hollywood takes from culture itself with slang and style, but yet still hesitating to fund and invest in black creators themselves. A lot of the cool language that happened in the 90s teen comedies came from the culture. Can't Hardly Wait and other late 90s teen comedies borrowed hip-hop, aesthetics, DJ culture, baggy fashion, and exaggerated comic delivery styles associated with black pop culture while having mostly non-black casts.
Yo, you know what that means, don't you? That means I got some 92% chance of embarrassing myself. I roll up on that shorty like, what's up, yo? She be like, you don't know 20 different ways to make me call you Big Papa? Cause I don't, yo.
Comedy structure itself was influenced too. The fast-paced sketch-like humor, exaggerated reactions, fourth wall breaking jokes, and physical comedy were seen in shows like Austin Powers' International Man of Mystery, or even later parody movies often resembled styles the Wayans family had already popularized in shows like In Living Color. Another big example is how a lot of white-led comedies had a couple raunchy turns and twists to them, but that was heavily inspired by black stand-up. American Pie became a huge mainstream hit, but the style of openly talking about sex, embarrassment, and exaggerated humiliation had already existed in black comedy spaces for years through comedians like Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy, and Def Jam Comics. Even outside of comedy and even outside of films, a lot of people in entertainment would just use black culture and its coolness, its ability to have influence on the youth, and inject it within whatever they're doing without including the ones who made it cool. You see this with hip-hop, streetwear, comics, slang, and even dance styles. They were all heavily influenced and popularized by the culture. Now, before the 2000s, actually, I'm even gonna say even after the 2000s, black audiences had a different reaction to horror movies than other people did. You know, the black audience would notice that, hey, in the movies, there's always, this suburban character who is at the center of what's going on, while the black character, you guys know the joke, the black character always dies first. The black man, the black woman, whoever it is, always dies first in the movie. This is why black people watched horror movies with a sense of humor. We knew after the first black guy got killed, there was just a series of bad choices being made by the other cast. And it wasn't like these films were bad. No, these audiences would enjoy them. It would be, why are you going in that room? Why are you just standing there? Why are you talking, having a conversation, and this man has a knife and he's chasing you? A lot of the reactions be talking to the screen in frustration at the characters and their decision making.
You watch horror movies and they're always so dumb. You're always like, why did she go in? Why? Don't go in there!
Y'all seen the movies. You should know better. No, don't go open the door. There's someone in the, you sitting there yelling at the theater. You know somebody's in there, and the jackass opened the door. And guess what?
This reaction strongly influenced Scary Movie. The Wayans took that and injected it in the movie and created a structure out of it. Instead of treating horror movie logic seriously, the film exaggerated the disbelief, scarcism, and commentary viewers already felt while watching slashers like Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer. This movie mocked the formula of what a horror movie is at the time, and instead of just repeating them, they mocked them. Now, after the first one got made, the second one was also another smash hit, and for the third one, they wrote a script, The Wayans, and the studio was green-lighting a third film to get created. Everyone was happy until the Wayans came to the studio and said, hey, we need a little bit more money for this third film. Not in terms of funding, but in terms of their own pockets because of the work that they've been putting in and the massive success that Scary Movie and Scary Movie 2 generated. The studio was like, nah, we're not giving you whatever kind of money you want. We're gonna give you the same amount that we gave you for Scary Movie 2. You guys could obviously see how that's an unfair deal. And so the Wayans left the project, but the studio still had their idea for Scary Movie 3 and still continued on with new members to the movie. The Wayans felt pushed away and the audience felt like they were betrayed. The studios controlled long-term profits while the Wayans got nothing. But this is something that has continuously happened in culture where bad deals are getting made or the right to own something is limited, although changes are starting to be made with guys like Ryan Coogler, who after 25 years can get the rights to Sinners back. But now fast forward to today, and the original producers and guys who kind of had trouble with the Wayans are now on their way out, and the studio made amends with the Wayans, and so a Scary Movie 6 is now getting created. I'm excited for it. Now, Scary Movie is an amazing movie to me, and so seeing Scary Movie 6 include the original cast back and a whole slew of jokes with movies being parodied, Sinners, Weapons, Nope, Get Out, all being parodied along with a whole bunch of other movies. I'm interested in seeing this film, and you guys will be getting a review as well. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. I'm out.